you to adopt from a shelter. So have you ever thought about what it would feel like to live on the streets, constantly in the search of your next meal or never knowing the feeling of companionship? This is a life of stray animals. The amount of stray animals that roam the streets in this miserable existence is unknown. So adopting our pets from different shelters can decrease the overpopulation of the stray animals. The Humane Society is a very supported organization which helps make it the most widespread and effective organization for the protection of animals. So adopting rescues from the Humane Society or just any shelter helps put these animals in good homes, which does not only benefit the animals but benefits you as well. This also avoids supporting the abusive facilities like the puppy mills. For me, it breaks my heart knowing that these animals do not know the feeling of love and companionship. When I get my own home, I plan on adopting dogs from rescue to show them the love and companionship that they deserve. Adopting from shelters or even volunteering there helps save a life while avoiding the animal industry. Every time you or someone you know adopts from the shelter, you are taking an animal who has known the hardships and struggles on life in the streets and providing them with a better life. There are many strays that die from starvation, disease, and the lack of shelter from the elements. And according to American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, out of the tremendous number of strays, only about 5 to 7 million animals are brought to the animal shelter each year. For most strays, this is the end of the line. However, for the lucky ones, they have the opportunity of being adopted to their forever home, where shelter, water, and food becomes a reality instead of a dream. When people adopt pets from rescue shelters, they are not only decreasing the number of homeless animals, but also greatly enhancing the lives of animals they adopt. By adopting, you will be saving two lives: the lives of the animal you adopted and the life of the wandering stray. Since animal shelters are generally overcrowded, when an animal is adopted, this allows for more room at the shelter to take in another animal. From the 5 to 7 million animals that do not make it to the shelter, about 60% of dogs and 70% of cats are euthanized. According to the Humane Society, the decision about euthanasia are based on the space and resources available to humanely house and care for the animals, and the behavior and the health of the animal. So by adopting, you are essentially saving a life. Not only does adopting a pet from the shelter benefit the animal, but it also benefits you. The animals from the pet stores are there to make money, so generally the prices are much higher than the adoption fees. Designer dogs at the pet store are priced at a few $100s or higher in comparison to adoption fees, which are normally around just $100. And according to SPCA of Central Florida, the adoption fee includes more than just the price of the animal. The price includes the spay and neuter surgery, preliminary shots, dewormers, physical exam, and heartworm tests for dogs, and feline leukemia and feline AIDS tests for cats. So adoption significantly benefits the animals while having a very positive impact on your own life. You may find yourself a new best friend or the newest addition to your family. So when you adopt from the shelter, it helps in the inhumane industries of the puppy mills. According to Paul's, puppy mills are money-making breeding facilities that mass-produce dogs for sales in the pet stores or directly through ads or the internet. In many states, these breeding kennels can legally house hundreds of dogs for their entire lives in cages only for the purpose of producing puppies. They are confined to filthy, overcrowded kennels with minimal shelter with no choice but to sit and sleep in their own filth. They suffer from malnutrition due to starvation and insanitary food and water when they become ill, and they receive little to no vet care. Also, the adult animals are overly bred until they are no longer to reproduce, and then they are killed. About 90% of the puppies you see in the pet store are from these terrible puppy mills. Since the shelter only receives stray animals, and they are only sold for profit, so you can be assured that when you adopt from a shelter, you are not supporting the inhumane facilities. There are many people that think when they purchase an animal from the pet store, they are saving a life, but instead it is only supporting these puppy mills and their horrible practices. Basically, the only way to end this industry would be to boycott the animals that they supply. So if you have your mind set on a particular breed of animal, there are different ways to find what you are looking for, other than just buying one from the pet store and supporting the puppy mills. According to Friends of Animals, more than 25% 95% of the dogs at the shelter are pure breeds, so you're able to search for a particular breed in your local shelter. Even if you are not able to save a life by adopting, you can still help save a life by volunteering at the shelter. According to Austin's Pets Alive, the volunteers who work directly with animals have the ability to increase the animals' chances of adoption by providing human contact. When volunteers provide human contact, they are making the animals happier and more people-friendly. So imagine how you would feel if you were left on the streets, cold, hungry, and had no one to care for you. When you make the decision to adopt from these shelters instead of buying them from the pet store, it will benefit you, your pet, and the other stray animals. You save money while still gaining a new companion who will finally know how it feels to have a home and to be loved. Also, when you adopt the animals from the shelter, you are not contributing to the cruel puppy mills. So without a flow of income from the animals, they will eventually have no other choice but to stop their practices. Adopting animals from an animal shelter also decreases the overpopulation of strays. So when you adopt your new pet from the shelter, you're providing a loving and caring home along with giving another stray the hope of finding that desiring companionship.